Hey, it's Dave too. I'm going to try and not spend too much time on this debrief today. I've been wanting to get a practice target out for a while, probably like the last 5 or 6 weeks or so. Everybody grinds and grinds and grinds on practice targets. I think that at like the most I had the past month and a half or so is maybe like a target 4. They're all kind of just like, yeah, whatever. I actually have one on Christ the Redeemer where I got everything but the sculpture itself. I got all that stuff. So I need to go do that, which wasn't very motivating to make a video. And I wanted to get something out, but like I wasn't getting it. And I think I just hit probably what I feel like is probably one of the best practice targets hits that I've probably ever had. And I just got it today right before going out with my girls to the pool. So pretty stoked. Let's go over it. I am going to keep where I got the target from. It's from a practice target set that a lot of people use. I know that the last couple times that I've said that, I basically spoil it for people. So you probably will come across this sometime in your career, and that's great. So the target was Boudhanath, Kathmandu, Nepal. I was blind for the target, but it was a practice target, so like I had the tasking available to me. That matters too, like all things. This is the ChatGPT summary, and it is in this remote viewing session, the viewer, Dave, explores a target that evokes a blend of ancient and mystical imagery. It begins with an ideogram suggesting complex interconnected structures and a sense of falling or descent, leading him to a large circular area with a dome in the center. The session is filled with associations to various historical and cultural references, such as the city of Aladdin, Machu Picchu, and the Eye of the Sahara, mixed with symbolic elements like a god king figure and a fountain of youth. The viewer repeatedly experiences AOLs, analytical overlays, drawing parallels to places like Leavenworth, Washington, the Andes, and religious sites like the Dome of the Rock, while also sensing layers of time and civilization. The session is marked by a struggle to maintain focus, which is true, with the viewer frequently referencing other sessions and personal experiences, ultimately describing the target as significant, possibly ancient, cultural, or a religious site located in a high altitude area, potentially in Asia or South America. So I had Asia and South America. The whole session I'm AOLing South America. At the end, I probe the globe and I get Asia, and they're always on opposite ends. And yeah, I didn't know which one to do. And this is in Asia. So real quick, I guess main points for the session. It was today in the afternoon. I decided not to include the target ID for privacy. This is ChatGPT generated, by the way. Let's see here. Felt large central focus. It reminded me of all those scenes in Aladdin where he's jumping across all the roofs. They're all very close together, just lots of stuff like that. There's a dome-shaped thing with, I think it's called a spiral or a spire. I remember when I was a kid, there's this thing with a steeple, and I think I call it the staple, but it reminded me of that. Everything felt German, but it had this weird Machu Picchu-y vibe to it. I kept AOLing a bunch of things. Something I didn't draw on the whiteboard here was there was this courtyard that was kind of like the Vatican or like some sort of religious thing. And it's actually in the Wikipedia for this site, which is cool. I got a god king figure that kind of came across as King Atlas associated with the structure. That's in the Wikipedia, which is dope. The target site felt ancient. There were multiple layers of civilization built over time, which was the Machu Picchu reference, which is that there were old stones that were bigger and more just like better architected and stuff, and then smaller stones on top, implying that some sort of adopted civilization. I don't know about that. It looks like things were built. It did say that this king in the Wikipedia, the site that this is on top of their old palace. So there's that. I sense a connection to a lost civilization with elements of time exploration, which is true. The whole time I was like, why can't I breathe? I feel like I'm in some high altitude place. I haven't looked at what the altitude is, but it is in Nepal. And I did have AOLs of Everest. which I think is also in that area. The colors that I had were Europa. So you probably know that. There's like this rust, pale blue, and white. So prominent. The dome thing looked like the surface of Europa when you get a picture. If you don't know what that is, it's like the ice moon of some other thing. And I concluded, the session concluded with the viewer acknowledging the target's significance as a cultural or religious center and noting possible connections to an Eastern symbol. That's my drawing, and we got the transcript. So let's pop back over to the Wikipedia. This was the target. Bam! That is freaking awesome. There's all the colors with the rust and stuff. Europa. That looks like a German town to me. I don't know. I guess that's what those towns look like. But freaking nailed it. I'm so pumped on this. I've been just so stoked. That's freaking awesome. So this place, also known as Boudhanath, Kasti, Chatia, I'm butchering all these words, is a stupa. And a stupa is a mound-like or hemispherical structure containing relics that is used as a place of meditation in Kathmandu, Nepal. Its massive mandala makes it one of the largest spherical stupas in Nepal and around the world. It is located on the ancient trade route from Tibet, which encounters the Kathmandu Valley by the village of Sanku in the northeast corner and continues the ancient and smaller stupa. Let's see here. Lots of stuff. Mythology, Newer Buddhist mythology. According to the Newer Buddhist history of Nepal, where the Naren, I can't say any of these words, palace currently stands, once stood the palace of King Vikramaditya, I guess. This king instructed that a traditional stone drinking fountain, I get a fountain in should be built in the southern part of the palace courtyard. I talk about the courtyard and a fountain and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse because I'm a dad. When the new fountain produced no water, the king consulted his astrologers who suggested that what was needed was a human sacrifice of a male candidate having something or 32 perfections. Now, I kept AOLing all of the, I AOL'd human sacrifice in Chichen Itza. So that was kind of like a cool piece of data here. Only the king himself and his two princes were suitable candidates. So the king decided to sacrifice himself to bring water to the fountain. There's something that I couldn't get that he was saying. And that probably was it. When you listen to the recording, I mean, it's really hard to parse out. Tibetan Buddhist mythology. What's in here? I did read this, but I didn't pull out the stuff. That is the structure from above. It's got the mandala. There's this stuff. It's showing a circle surrounded. All of the buildings are basically together. They're all of varying heights, different stuff. Feeling really good about this. I feel like I saw something here about it being life tree. Okay. Going into the video from the feedback, there's the little things there. I mentioned this temple that didn't have any creases or stone markings on it. That kind of shows that this is like one gigantic plastered piece, very similar to that, what I had AOL'd. The German-looking town that I mentioned, the cobblestone streets in the session. But the God thing came back, and I viewed the God thing as having a trident, the three-spoke thing. There's the three-spoke thing. And as I'm describing that, I got an AOL as Shiva, and it was like Shiva down to the Andes and weird South American culture stuff and gold. And that's the thing that's there. So I haven't looked into what this is. I don't know, but that was a good hit from the session. So lots of good data here, lots of good hits about what was going on, the purpose of it. It's cultural. I believe it's Buddhist. Does it say it in here? Is it Buddhist? Yeah. The stupa is said to entomb the remains of Kassapa Buddha, one of the ancient Buddhas. Yep. And it is one of the most popular tourist sites in the area. I also mentioned that I thought that it was some sort of tourist site that I wouldn't be familiar with, but that like someone else is in the session. So I am ecstatic with the data on this. I feel like this is the best practice target that I've done in a while. If you aren't impressed, then I'm so sorry, but I had fun. I did only do the recording of it, and I feel like it takes up so much space. I mean, it's like 5 gigabytes probably to do the full file on this. Even when I take this and I truncated it, it still was 25 minutes. I think I spent 40 minutes total, so that's quite a bit of silence. But yeah, up next will be the raw recording. I'm not going to do anything special over it. It's just a boring practice target that I hit. But I'm really stoked on all the data I got. I don't know what more I can say. I probably should shut up and just let it go to that. So without further ado, there we go. Thanks. This is Dave 2 on August 17th, 2024 at 1:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing a practice target. I'm going to leave the target ID and like where it came from off the recording in case I want to share this. I'm not doing video because I'm lazy. Those take up about 3 gigabytes. And I've only gotten targ 3, where I got like the gestalts corrected some data on the last couple. And yeah, I'm not really sure that's useful. I feel like if we do this, it should be compressed. So let's get connected here. I'm going to do the ideogram. The ideogram has it's like it went to the right and then went sharp down, like a big falling sensation, and came back up. There's an intricate movement, a loop, which indicates some sort of life, and then straight down again. A little bit hard to decipher, lots going on. There's a religious feeling to those dropping sensations. I'm going to circle this up, form a big circular thought form, and I'm going to open this up as a data packet. Right away, it feels like a big area. It feels like there's a slight indentation in the center. We're focused on the center, and as I go up, it's like an AOL of, you know, the town in Aladdin. Why does it remind me of the city in Aladdin? Lots of uneven surfaces. Everything seems to be connected. You know, in Aladdin, when like, I forget, Aladdin, that's his name, is running on all the roofs, and like all the roofs are just magically connected. It feels like that. There's lots of horizontals and verticals, but there isn't consistency. And the whole landscape seems to be up like that. So that's one thing. What else is here? The center. So there's this, and then the center feels like dome shaped. The word spire coming. Yeah, well, of that radar array in Brazil or something, but like inverted or something where like the concaveness is to the landscape here of AOL, some city type space. And then in the middle, there's like a convex dome with like a big thing coming out of the top of it or something. And why it reminds me of that S5 deconstruct is just all the shapes and stuff. S5 deconstruct on the Aladdin meme thing. Few other ones here. I once did David, the statue of David. It's like in a big church thing. And one of the things I got was a piece of data that all of the streets were cobblestone, and they were like, all the buildings were connected, and it was only for people. There aren't cars. There's another one where when I went to Vienna and I walked around. I was surprised how many of the streets there. It was like a normal street with cobblestone stuff. And that was the that was the AOL from the David one. So I'm getting the same sort of vibes of that. It feels, I'm deep in AOL Drive right now. There's like an architectural thing that feels German. It's like going to, there's a German town in the middle of Washington State, Leavenworth. For some reason, it feels like Leavenworth. But Leavenworth has cars. This would be like stone streets, old. There's a piece. Yeah. Okay, so I have two things here. There's like the location thing surrounding it, and there's the structure. The structure in the middle feels like the main thing. It has some sort of like weird energetic nature to it. Let's take that as X. We're going to S2 it. Let me do a quick ideogram on it. Basically a structure with something hollow on the inside, but there's like weird levels of thickness and stuff. S2, it's AOL Europa. There is stop AOLing. I'm AOLing the Eye of Sahara with Atlantis connection thing. Why S5? Why does it remind me of Sahara? Circular. There's a rusty brown. I feel like there were salt deposits there or something that had this pale blue color. These are all the same thing as Europa. Europa has like this white, opally blue, and also like rust colors. Those are like the three primary colors. What is the texture? Smooth, dirty, temperature. Oh, smells. There's kind of a stench. It's like a spice or something. There's a weird tinge to it. It feels feels like Colorado air. Every time I go to Colorado, I feel like there's no oxygen. Like I can't breathe. AOL of Colorado. Tastes earthy, grainy, something like that. The word no rivets just popped into my head. Not no rivets, Prue, Birdie. No rivets is in like the reference to spacecraft not having any lines or connections to them, where they're just like made out of one solid piece. Why does it remind me of the no rivets piece? There's something I don't want to say on the recording, but I'll just say this. There's an astral temple where there's a library that I found. There's no rivets in the library. It's made out of this solid white stone. And then it feels, I have another thing popping up here. You hold on, sir. There's like it's like a Greek god just came up from above. I said not a god, a king. Okay. There's this library in this astral temple. And then on the other side of it, it has this like Greek feel to it. And there's these steps that go down, and there's a big circular courtyard. And in the middle is the Fountain of Youth. And this is going to blow your mind. So I see this in my astral temple space, right? And then I'm watching Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with my daughter. And I swear to God, the exact same, like it was like somebody drew exactly what I saw in this astral temple, which I had confirmed and stuff by someone else. And they pointed me to some stuff that talked about it. And in the center is this fountain, and it's the Fountain of Youth. And guess what in Mickey Mouse Clubhouse? Guess what is in the center? You're damn right. It's the Fountain of Youth. When you go in it, it makes you younger. And I was like, did I just view this? But no, I got the other feedback. So I'm seeing there's that whole piece here, and the focus seems to not be on the temple, but on the symbolic analogy to this courtyard. So to describe the courtyard, it's flat, it's circular, it has these circular stones. The comparison difference is that those stones were white gray. These are red like Mars, iron. Surrounding it are pillars. In my thing, they were like normal Greek circular pillars. These feel like stony, red, Mayan, whatever weird Peru, ancient alien stuff. Things there were, totally forget the place, Lake Titicaca stuff, something like that, but like with like a reddish stone. It feels like a communion place. AOL, what's the Vatican, where there's a circle thing and then there's a fountain in the center. Okay. That's another thing. I've unlocked that. I have this person patiently waiting. Please come down. Hi. Long hair, muscly, shirtless, feels like a Greek god. Hello, who are you? I'm king of your land, king of the land. Hello, thank you. What can you tell me about this place? What once was not forgotten. To have sacrificed, lost. To have sacrificed is to have lost what was gained. Having a really hard time deciphering this. What else can you tell me about this thing? It is with my great duty that I bestow upon this fountain of life. There's a I think it was 2014 or something, 2015. I went to Chichen Itza, and there's like a death. That's like the fifth or sixth time I've said South America here. It really gives me that sort of vibes. Besides like the Germantown thing. Death. There's a weird religious sacrificial death cult thing vibe going on with this. Like, you know, when they talk about like stabbing someone in the chest and like taking their heart out and stuff when you go there to Chichen Itza, and how they would sacrifice somebody for the gods or something. There's a vibe like that. What else can you tell me about the site? I'm seeing layers. It's a complex analogy here where it goes to the Machu Picchu thing, where Machu Picchu has large stones underneath and smaller stones above. And it's like an adopted civilization where something existed that is much, much, much older. And then somebody else came and built on top of it. But it feels like there's like 3, 4, 5 different incarnations of this, almost like it was renovated and changed. The biggest aspect here, which I think came out before, was some sort of time exploration. So we need to double tap on the time. We have the courtyard, we have the structure, we have this god king, and we have the location. If I'm off the rails, this always happens. Okay. Mr. King Dude, can you tell me anything else about the target site? It reminds me of the movie Wish. AOL to the movie Wish. It is in Wish, all these people, different people from different cultures and stuff and different things come and meet. It's showing this courtyard thing. It's like a meeting place. AOL of the more Disney movies. I have kids. Of Frozen, and like when they open up the gates and everybody's in there conversing and stuff together and doing that. It feels like a meeting point of multiple cultures, a destination. There's this magical wizard king thing, just like in Wish. In Wish, there's all those bubble things. And obviously, there's the circle area, like that thing. It's saying the structure is like the main structure in Wish. That's like the center of the society or something. It's a central focal point for the society. It's a circle. The inside is kind of like dualistic to the courtyard. Okay. That is a bad decoding. Mr. King person, what else can you tell me about this property thing, structure, location? It's taking me back 327 AD. It's like parallel to Bible creation times things. There's like an age from like 327 to like 450 or something here. It just did like a whole SimCity thing where like this thing gets built up, then broken down, then built up, then broken down. AOL Dome of the Rock in Israel. S5 deconstruct. Why does it remind me of Dome of the Rock? The shape, but the intangible. We're still on S2 somewhere here in our stack of things, in our push pop stack. The intangible is the religious nature of some sort of crazy divine thing going on. Okay. Anything else that I should know, King? Poof, gone. Okay. Coming back to the S2s, I don't think we made it off of color and texture. Now, we did smell that temperature, 55 degrees Fahrenheit, coolish. There's that Colorado AOL analogous aspect. AOL, what I would imagine the Mount Everest camp feels like. Some sort of like, it's like hard to breathe. Sounds. For some reason, there's like an aspect of low to no EMF. I always pick up on these at target sites. It feels like structured nature. like there's a very natural aspect to this. Okay. And the dimensionals, there's verticals, there's this dome shape. There's another vertical thing on top of it. It reminds me of an orgone generator I once saw that had like different varying degrees. There's horizontals, there's slanted horizontals. The colors of Europa just keep coming through. The ice world planet thing with the rust and pale blue stuff. Circular feels big. How big? Something feels like a half mile here. I don't know why it feels so big. That's what the data feels like. I don't know of any structures that big, but it's like this ripply, that AOL of the Sahara, or the Eye of the Sahara, again, this ripply thing. Why does it remind me of the Eye of the Sahara? The shape, the layers of rings, ringed. There's like a ripple effect, elevated point in the center of that. It was like Wish was the center of this proposed civilization thing where King Atlas would sit. Lots of parallels to that. Off in the mountains, or off in the distance, there's mountains, like low rolling hill mountain things. There's that. Anything else? Some sort of lost civilization. That goes back to the Machu Picchu AOL. There's like a layer here of something that happened and then other civilizations have come and built on top of it. That's what it feels like. Rebuild. Aesthetic impact. How do I feel about this? There's the like Tomb Raidery, archaeological. It feels like, you know, the archaeology stuff that goes on in Israel, like the Dome of the Rock, where there's this old ancient stuff that you like uncover, but it's smack dab in the middle of day-to-day life. What's going on? It feels like that. Okay. S4, this can be a long session. Tangible, this dome structure thing. What is intangible about it? Central, the center of a civilization or culture. There's this mythical association with the King Atlas figure, dude, God, Shiva thing. Why does it remind me of Shiva? I don't know what Shiva is in like Hindu culture. That feels like I'm all over here AOL driving left and right. It feels like the weird serpent stuff in South America. Lots of gold. Yeah. So from Hindu to there, we're talking serpent stuff. Okay. Totally forgot where I am. Tangibles and intangibles. Tangibles, this thing. What is intangible about the structure? Power. There's a powerful feeling about this. It's showing that it's like the central thing, like in the Eye of the Sahara or the thing of Wish. It is the center of the stuff. What is intangible about it? Dilapidated through the sands of time. There's the Greek god thing. The Greek god, like King Atlas, I think I already described him. This like long flowing hair, gray beard, stoic Greek-like face, holding one of those trident things with the three spears, almost like a genie. The Aladdin thing with the genie thing where they like a mermaid with no legs. Okay. Why does this remind me of that? The serpent. Serpents don't have legs. This is going all ancient aliens on us. Okay. What else is intangible about this structure? It's almost religious in nature. They're showing the Vatican and the temple rock thing, both religious things, where the relation to the courtyard. Courtyards for like communication and meeting people. It's like a shared space that's communal, where that's like creates a bourgeoisie where people come together and can converse. In the old world, it was Twitter for old times. But both of these spots are like points of contemplation, and the contemplation feels religious. Yeah, there's some like weird, it's going back to the South America stuff where we don't understand. I can't name what the religion is, but there's a religious nature where it's about the way the world works. And you have this like divine entity being thing, this God king associated with it, like a myth or a legend. Okay. What's intangible about this? I'm just gonna keep going. There's a aspect of towering above, a focal or a viewpoint, a lookout, the symbolical thing that looks above. Okay, let's go over to this courtyard, close out on that. We're going to go over to the courtyard thing that I described. Why does it, at AOL courtyard, S5, why does it remind me of a courtyard? Circular, but like an oval aspect to it. Flat, walls around, but the walls are sparse, implying the AOL columns. There's nothing above it. There's sky. There's the central thing that feels intricate or ornate. That was the AOL, the fountain. Colors, red. Checking my phone real quick. The red, the Mars red, gray, very natural, earthy, stony colors. Textures, grainy. AOL feels like stone. Once again, AOL, this like high up in the mountains in the Andes or something. Just getting those vibes, like a German town or something. Very European like, but with like the people seem to have black hair, darker skin. Yeah, it just so much like that stuff. I can't name any towns like this though. Courtyard smells. That like sort of like musty, earthy smell, tastes stony, salty, not salty, dry. Temperature 55, sounds. There's an echo, but it's kind of quiet, quieter than normal. There isn't like normal sounds of stuff. Dimensionals, circular. This doesn't feel that large. A couple 100 feet or less. Smaller than the Vatican. Circular, flat. Densities very hard, heavy. Flat. Feels like it's on a flat surface. Aesthetic impact. Like I'm bored looking at old architecture stuff without much backstory. Okay. Let's go. What's tangibles and intangibles? Tangible is this thing, the circular structure thing. What's intangible about it or the thing in the center? Meeting place, contemplation. It's like an open park where people can just like walk into it. The AOL, the Frozen 2 thing, all that stuff. It feels like a distraction to the target and like not to focus on it. Is this target data? It could be. It feels like a distraction that this is not the target. It may have some sort of piece to it, but it's not the target, and I am doorknobbing here. So we're going to close out of that completely. And that comes back to the location. What is... Once again, AOL of the scene in Aladdin, of this like rolling landscape of that. Why does it remind me of that? More primitive architecture, not spaces between things. Flowing, connected, varying heights, horizontals, verticals. Colors, reminding me of a German town. There's browns, naturals. Everything seems natural. Nothing seems like super metal and artificial. Textures. Now I'm doorknobbing, AOL Drive on that town in Leavenworth where it like feels like soft, wet wood and hard stucco like stone or whatever they have there for it. Yeah, dang. Smells earthy, tastes earthy, temperature coldish, sounds like a simple life. Like it sounds like simple town life or whatever. Lots of natural sounds. I'm seeing it as like a large... This is AOL Drive, but I'm seeing it as a large city-like thing that doesn't seem to have cars in it, which is kind of implying, like, is this present time? Oh, and I have to go probe that time thing. I think I did probe the time thing. Feels like 1600 years. There's a dualistic nature to this where it's like, there's a paradox where I'm supposed to be describing the whole thing, and therefore, like, I could pop in the different timelines over this. It's almost like it's not specific enough. Okay. Anything else? Tangibles, intangible. What's intangible about it? There's the height thing again. It's like Colorado or the Andes height. Where in the world is this? There's like Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and Everest. It's forming like a triangle there. It's the opposite side of where I think it is. Where is it? It's saying, if you go look on a map, I've said this in other sessions, I get the opposite side of the globe when I probe for it. So either the Andes is correct and it's on the opposite side of the globe of that triangle I just described, or the triangle area is correct. It's in some like high up mountain Asian thing, and the Andes, or like the South America Andes thing, is on the opposite side of the globe. It's one of those two, and this is saying that it's it's the Asian thing. It's always the opposite, so I'm not gonna take a guess. I don't know. Okay. What else is intangible about this location? It feels like a tourist destination that I've never heard of. You know how like there's places over in other cultures that they know about, or like whenever time I hear a European going on vacation, they all seem to know the tropical Spanish island place that they're going, and I've never heard of these places. And like some of them have never heard of, like, I don't know, Sayulita or something that would be like, what? And it's just because that's like where you are. This seems to be something that is specific to some people. That's like a tourist spot for some people, but not for everyone. Like Leavenworth. You'd only know about Leavenworth if you live in Washington. Okay. Feels about wrapped up. Anything that I would regret about the session? The King Atlas thing. That's just the AOL. What do I regret about the God King? Get a name. It's like Berendra, Baron Kuyu. AOL of the, it's like a Sanskrit or something. I don't know what it is, but it's the maybe Islamic or whatever. I don't know what it is, but the all the Stephen Halpern stuff has it on it. It's the symbol that everybody knows. It's like an Eastern symbol. Yeah. Okay. It's saying there's something to do with that symbol. That's a regret. Okay. Anything else? All right. I'm going to call it end session. Hopefully I wasn't totally to the side of my mic for too long because I didn't realize I was over there. I'm going to truncate this. That was a 40-minute session. Holy crap. That is a long time. I'm going to get feedback and then, yeah, end session. Thanks.